mess. Oh, I guess. Oh no, the barking is already starting. Alrighty. Hi. So today we're going to do my April wrap up and my May TBR a little differently than I did last month, which was pretty much my last two videos because it's been a hot minute. I'm just going to say that I completed and filmed a 24-hour readathon. And you're probably thinking, Lauren, why aren't we seeing that video? Well, right now I'm only editing on my iPad, and it was just too much for this guy to handle, like that amount of footage and that amount of editing. So I'm gonna have to wait on 24-hour challenge to see if there's a better way to do it while editing on my iPad. I do want to do it again because I had a lot of fun, but that's why I've been gone for a little bit, and that's why you're not seeing that video. So in this wrap up, I'm going to try my best to keep everything spoiler free. So any of the synopsis that I give, it's gonna be very general and just kind of give a gist of what goes on in the book, but not any details, you know? Yeah. So, like last time, I have my notes right here for everything that I read in April because, let's be real, I wouldn't remember everything that I read in April if I didn't have it right here. So, if I'm looking down, that's what I'm looking at. So, the first book that I read in the month of April is Does It Hurt by H.D. Carlton. So, this book is following Sawyer and Enzo. Sawyer has a bit of a checkered past, and Enzo, he loves the sea, he loves sharks, they cross paths. They have a very interesting relationship, but they cross paths, things happen, they end up on this island with this really creepy old man, and on this island, a lot of crazy things happen. That's all I really have to say about that book, because that's pretty much everything that happens. They cross paths, they go on this adventure, they end up on an island with a creepy old man where crazy things happen. That's your synopsis. As far as rating goes, for me it was a 1 star. Now, I can already see the people that love this book coming for me. I can see why people love this book. It's just personally not my taste. I am really glad that I read it though, because I want to read any and every book that I come across to see what I truly like. This just wasn't for me. It's just like, there were some scenes that I could not get behind, and those are the only things that I remember from this book. For those that know, the shark scene, borderline drowning scenes, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not going to try other books that are in the dark romance genre, because I know that there's so many different kinds of dark romance books within there, and I want to keep trying until I find that niche that I like. Hopefully there's one that I like. But no, I can see why people love this book. It just wasn't for me. So the next book that I read was Pineapple Street by Jenny Jackson. Complete 180. I really needed that after Does It Hurt? There's a chipmunk outside. Oh, sweet. Hi. Oh, here comes Milo. Anyways, Pineapple Street by Jenny Jackson. So the synopsis behind this book, it is following 3 different women's point of views. 2 of them are sisters, and one of them is married to the 2 sisters' brother, so their sister-in-law. What I got from this book is that no matter how good your life looks like from the outside, that's not necessarily the case when you're up close and personal. It is very much character driven and not plot driven, but I really enjoyed reading this though. It was very easy to get into. It was like reading a reality TV show about a rich family. Yeah, that's basically what this is. So for my rating, I gave this a 3.25. It was very enjoyable, very fun, but it didn't grip onto me, I guess. It wasn't the best book that I've ever read, but I really enjoyed it. Highly recommend, especially during the summer. This is a great summer book. So the next book that I read in the month of April was The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. I actually listened to the audiobook on my way back home from Dallas. I went to Dallas to see my sister, but also to see the solar eclipse. It was amazing. The whole premise of this book is we're following this married couple. Sarah, the wife, she is a defense attorney, and Adam, the husband, is a cheater. This book follows the journey of Sarah defending her husband in court after they found his mistress dead in their lake house. So, that is literally the whole story. I will say though, I kind of guessed the entire plot line. Basically, it's just a mystery whodunit book. There was nothing thrilling about it for me, and it was kind of predictable, in my opinion. That being said, I did enjoy listening to this book. Don't get me wrong, it was a good time. But when I'm looking for a mystery thriller, I want a little bit more mystery. That's where I'm at with that one. I gave this book a 3-star. At least that's what I have written down. But now that I'm really sitting here thinking about it, I'm kind of gravitating more towards a 2.75. That feels a little bit more right for me. I understand why people love this book. It's just not my personal taste of mystery thriller. I don't know. I want to be shocked. I want to be surprised. So, this one just didn't do it for me. Okay, so the next book that I read is Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. This was one of the books that I read in my failed 24-hour readathon. So you would have gotten all my reaction to it, but I guess you're just gonna have to deal with me just talking about it. I absolutely loved this book. We're following Macy and Elliot. We start in their childhood where they're neighbors at Macy's family's vacation home. She's going through a really hard time, and through everything that's happening, she finds a friend in Elliot. She really leans on him. Oh my goodness, my dog is choking. Not like actually, but he's just like for a wall. So they become best friends, and we're following their childhood. And then we're jumping over to their life current day. In current day, they hadn't spoken in 11 years. They cross paths again as adults, and they try to rekindle their friendship and see how their friendship will mesh with their existing friendships and relationships. It's a time hop, like you're constantly going between those 2 points in time, and those usually confuse me a bit, but this one didn't. It made a lot of sense. While you're watching them try and figure out their friendship within current day, you're also figuring out what happened 11 years ago that made them not speak to each other anymore. And when I found out what happened, I cried, like sobbing, crying. It was just a lot. I did not expect that ending. It was just a combination of things. If I talk about it too much, I might start crying again. For my rating, I gave this book a 5 stars. I have not stopped thinking about this book. I'm gonna remember it probably for the rest of my life. It's such a cute and wholesome book, a very easy read. I didn't even realize how far I was into the book until I was over halfway through. And that is completely uncommon for me. Take that as you will. And I'm gonna talk about my last 2 books together. The last 2 books that I read this month were Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight. I am fully into the Throne of Glass universe. Last month I read Assassin's Blade. This month continued on. So in Throne of Glass, we're following Selena. This picks up, I think it was 2 years after Assassin's Blade ends, and she is brought to the kingdom. She strikes up a deal with the prince and the king. She's competing for a position called the King's Champion, and after she serves the king for a set amount of years, then she gains her freedom and she doesn't have to go back to where she was imprisoned. You find out all of her imprisonment details in Assassin's Blade, so I'm not going to go into all of that. So we're following the entire competition, crazy things that are happening in the castle and in the kingdom, and it's really fun. Really fun. I really enjoyed this book. I actually gave both of these books a 3.75. Here's why. So this is an 8-book series, and I just know Sarah J. Maas. I read Agatar. I know how she writes, and I just know that I need to have room for varying degrees of greatness with the rest of the series. So that's why these are 3.75. I'm sure that the further that I get into the series and upon the reread of the series, that These ratings might change. They might go up, they might go down. Not sure, but for both of these, a 3.75 felt right for me at the time. But as I said, they might change. So that's the whole premise of this book. Crown of Midnight, shocker, it's the next book in the series and it follows things that happened in the first book. So I can't really talk too much about this book other than saying crazy things happen, pieces are starting to be put together, crazy things are revealed, and that's all I'm gonna say on that. Ooh, so that's everything that I read in the month of April. So now let's move over to my TBR area. We're gonna do something different than I did last month. It's not creative by any means, but it's a little bit more fun than what I did last month where I just picked the books. Let's just go do that. Okay. Alrighty. Welcome to my TBR corner. So last month I decided that I wanted to put together a TBR cart. This is not all of the physical books that I have that are on my TBR, but it's a good chunk of them. So the plan for the May TBR is I have a little TBR jar of prompts. I know, so original. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 5 TBR prompts and then we'll go through my TBR cart and through my shelves and see what's going to be on May's TBR. So let's get into it. So for the first draw, hold on, let's shake it up some. Okay. First TBR prompt, a book from your favorite genre. Okay. That's easy. Okay. I can do that. Number 2. Okay. Then we have a book you've been procrastinating to read. There's several. Alrighty. Number 3. Okay. A mystery or thriller book. I only have a couple of those on my physical TBR. So, that should be good. That should be good. Number 4. I want you to see it first. Okay. A book a friend recommended. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to text my sister and ask her what book she would recommend. And I'm just going to leave it open to her. I'm not going to give her a list of my physical TBR. Last one. Dog hair. A book that starts with a random letter. This prompt, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go onto a letter generator website and have it generate a random letter, and then I have to pick a book that the title starts with that letter. You know what I mean? If you don't know what I mean, you'll see what I mean. So I have my 5 prompts. Now let's go pick out the books. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to text my sister and see what book she recommends. Hi, sister. Currently trying to figure out what books I want to read in the month of May. What book would you recommend for me to read? Any book at all. Smiley face. Okay. She has now been texted, so now we just have to wait on her to respond and give me a book recommendation. So for my random letter prompt, I actually made a wheel and I'm just going to spin it and it's going to land on a number. So here we go. Spin. That's a fun little song. So the letter is V. So we have to pick a book that starts with the letter V. Let's see. I don't have a book that starts with the letter V. So we spin again? Alrighty, let's try this again. Spin. U. think. There's a Y. I think I just picked the two letters that I have nothing. Okay, actually, I'm kind of an idiot. So, I have Verity. That's the one that I'm gonna do. I couldn't find anything that starts with U. The closest thing that I could find was The Unmaking of June Farrow, which is a highly anticipated read for me, but I'm just gonna honor the letter generator and do V, so Verity, first book. Also, my sister texted back. She said, I think you should try the Dresden Files. The first book is Stormfront. It's gonna have to be on my Kindle. You're okay? Oh, okay. You need mama. So I'm gonna look up Dresden Files Stormfront. So the synopsis is Stormfront is a 2000 fantasy novel by American writer Jim Butcher. It is the first novel in Dresden Files' first published series, and it follows the character of Harry Dresden, professional wizard. Another wizard named Harry. I'm just gonna pop up a picture of Stormfront right here. I'm gonna find a way to read this, whether it's borrowing a copy from my sister or finding it on my Kindle or audiobook, something. But that is our next book on May TBR. Thank you, Ashley. So the next one, a book you've been procrastinating to read. I don't know, all of them, actually. I've been procrastinating starting this series. So I've heard mixed opinions about this series. That's why I've been procrastinating on it. Maybe it's time. Twisted Love. Next book on the May TBR. Got it. Done. The next one, a book from your favorite genre. My favorite genre is romantasy fantasy. Boop. Air of Fire. Continuing the Throne of Glass series. I want to keep going. And my plan for this month, I want to do a full spoiler reading vlog. So if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments below. But that's the plan. Book from my favorite genre, check. Air of Fire. The Last Prompt. The Last Melon. If y'all know what that's from, I want to be friends. A mystery or thriller book. We have some options here. None of this is true. We have... Oh no. Okay, I'm just not going to be able to get them out right now. So we have None of This Is True, The Silent Patient, Dial A for Aunties. Oh, the Natural series. I could start that. But I want to work on my physical TBR. I think between those three, it would have to be None of This Is True. Just because this was on last month's TBR, and I really want to read it. I've heard amazing things about this. None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. Last book. So this is our May TBR. Number 1, Verity, Colleen Hoover. This has been on my shelf for like a year and a half and I haven't touched it, so it's about time that I read this. The second book is Stormfront, the first book in the Dresden Files, about a professional wizard named Harry. If it's anything like Harry Potter, then I think I'm gonna like it. If it's not, I still think I'm gonna like it. My sister likes good books. Third book, Twisted Love by Anna Huang, starting the Twisted series. I'm nervous. Looking forward to see what all the hype is about around this series, so... Book number 3. Book number 4, Air of Fire. I'm so excited. And I think this is where everything starts to get really juicy. Everyone said that this is where the plot really starts thickening, which makes sense because the books are thickening too. So, Air of Fire, book number 4. Wait, it's number 4 on my list and number 4 in the series. If you read Assassin's Blade first, which I did. That's satisfying. And the last book is None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. I've heard amazing things about this book. It was on last month's TBR and it has rolled over into this month. I need to read this book. I need to read this book. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's it for today's video with our April wrap up and our May TBR. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any recommendations on how I should do my TBR videos in the future, let me know, but I'm really enjoying this TBR prompt. I think it's going to be fun. If you have any recommendations for specific prompts as well, let me know that too. Milo really wants some cuddles right now, so I better go. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope you have a wonderful whatever time it is, whatever day it is. I hope it's wonderful, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Sir,
You couldn't wait just a few more minutes?
can you sit? Oh, thank you. Bless you.
Oh.